Hello everybody, welcome to WhatCulture Gaming. I'm Scott, joined by Ash.
Hello!
Hello, Ash, my friend. We're still very much recovering from things we've seen this weekend in regards to a certain franchise and a certain big old bummer that was going on, but we loved it, but those things are coming in the future, all sorts of spoiler talks. And for now, though, we can talk about some nerdy things in regards to the PS5, because there's information from one of the UI designers written up by The Verge. Now, this person's called Matt McLaurin. He was talking on LinkedIn, answering some fan questions and some general inquiries as to what the PS5 is going to be and look like. Those posts have now been deleted, which is always the smoke and gun in regards to how much truth there is. So he was being asked about the UI and how the system might look when you boot it up, and he said that it's a 100% overhaul of the PS4 UI, a very interesting evolution of the OS. He said it's practical first, but a whole new visual language and a complete re-architecturing of the user interface. It's more subtle than flashy, but no pixel is untouched. So essentially, what do you think about them ditching something that they've had since the PS3?
I think it's good. I think it's time for something new. I feel like this kind of generation with the PS5 and the whole new console thing, I feel like it feels like something so new and so fresh and like lots of things that we haven't seen before. And I feel like kind of capping that off with a really nice UI is a good way of doing it and having something new and fresh and everyone going, wow, okay, that's very cool. Because this is going to be the first time we have like proper next generation games designed for digital only console sort of thing as well. So to kind of cap that off with something that's, I don't know, I just feel like it's a very new time, a very exciting time for gaming. So having it with this generation with the new UI makes sense. I'm pleased with it, is my rambling way of saying, yes, good.
Well, see, we were talking before we started recording about, like, because I know you didn't have a PS3, but, like, I remember when the XMB came along and Sony kind of struggled to make it work. Like, initially it was this, like, sleek thing where you had this strip of, like, you know, games or movies or pictures or whatever. But again, and, you know, I was talking to Josh about this as well. Things like the PlayStation Store took forever to come together. The original PlayStation Store was just this, like, web browser that you booted up inside the console, and it was like, what the hell are you guys doing? Yeah. And so I don't know how much of this stuff extends to, like, the app side of it, like booting up different apps, like, you know, whether it be the PlayStation Store or maybe the PlayStation Plus offerings and stuff. But I don't know, I'm a bit more touchy with it. I kind of want to see, like, I think the XMB is one of the sleekest interfaces that they've got. So I don't know, I mean, hopefully they go down more of like a visual route. He says that it's not necessarily that flashy, but like, I don't know how you improve on nigh on perfection.
Oh, I don't know if it's perfection. I started off this generation with Xbox One, and I know loads of people hate it. I know people don't like it. I really like the Xbox interface, and I like the menus, and I like how it works, and I know how it works. Whereas PlayStation, I always struggle to find whatever I need. Like,
really?
Like I always have to go whenever I'm looking to like upload a game into the cloud to then download it from somewhere else, like playing on the PlayStation. I can never ever find the upload thing or wherever it's supposed to be. I have to go through every single list to try and find it, and I'm never sure which way to go on the like wheel. Like where it's like, I know the game I've been playing is right here, but how do I get to the internet? And I forget where it goes like all the time. Whereas I know on the Xbox they'll have their set places. I put them all in pins so I know where they're going to be. But that is definitely a me thing. So I imagine there's more dumb idiots like me out there who are like, I don't understand where anything is. But yeah.
Well, let's clarify one thing on the Xbox side, because this is what's going to be interesting going forward. The obviously on the Sony side, like I just said, they're doing this whole overhaul thing. Whereas on the Xbox side, as confirmed by The Verge's Tom Warren, he tweeted out saying the Xbox Series X dashboard will be the same as the Xbox One. Microsoft are adding some additional stuff for console features, but the UI and dash will be the same. Speed and performance will also be improved. Now, I hate this because I think it just reminds me of a Windows phone. I've always hated that tile interface, and everything you described about getting lost totally applies to me on the Xbox. I can't even find the games for gold every month. Where are they every single time? I just get lost.
That's fair. The games for gold are hidden. They're hidden away. They're hard to find. I understand why people don't like the Xbox interface, and I think that they should have taken that on board and adapted it for next generation. Like, as much as I appreciate PS5 having a whole new interface, I think Xbox should as well. As much as maybe I prefer the Xbox One because I'm used to it, that doesn't mean I think it should stay the same. I think it should definitely kind of change up a bit, and hopefully when they're saying it's going to stay the same, they mean that it's going to largely look the same, but maybe have a few more accessible options, or maybe lay things out a bit clearer than they are. I like the main menu where you can get to like games and trophies and have all your socials in like one like sidebar that kind of pops up. But yeah, the tiles, I understand the tiles. I can empathize. Like
Right.
I get it. I think they should change it up a bit.
I was going to ask though, because like you've got stuck into the whole pin side of it, like organizing your pins and get everything on the homepage, and I think it's because I haven't bothered with that, and I guess like that's more of like you kind of have to engage with that stuff to make the UI make more sense or make it more accessible. Like I guess going forward, if you were Mr. Xbox or Mrs. Xbox, what would you change for like the console itself? What would you add and take away?
That's Ms. Xbox to you. No,
God damn.
how I use it is more like I'd use the Xbox as like a home entertainment system where I have all of like my apps on, because some of the apps that I use on Xbox don't like work on PlayStation. Like Shudder, for one, has an Xbox app, but it doesn't have a PlayStation app. So I tend to use Xbox for everything outside of games, and then some games as well with Games Pass and everything, and then PlayStation purely as a games machine.
Right.
So what I'd like with Xbox's way of doing things is to be able to cluster those more kind of into screens, have like a TV and entertainment screen, and then like the gaming page and that sort of thing, have them very clearly defined, which I know PlayStation does by having all of its different boxes and you can click them and go into them. I think Xbox should have that more, because you can kind of jumble up all your pins into whatever you like. If you want like a game pin there as well as a like Shudder or other apps are available, Amazon Prime or anything like that, you can kind of pin them all in the same area, and I think just having set pages would be good, which again, I know PlayStation does, and I praise them for that, and I think if they kind of keep that sleek, very, this is where things are designed, but just refine it so I don't get lost with the different menus, that would be good.
To be honest, like the amount of people that have embraced the whole like folder customizable pin thing, like I put up a tweet the other week when I got Last of Us 2, and everyone was like, oh my god, everything's not in folders, what the hell are you doing? Whereas like maybe I just missed the boat on that. I don't know if like people can obviously let us know down in the comments whether you organize your stuff into folders. I just have everything in one big old stream and I just sort of jump through it all. Maybe that's crazy.
That might be where I'm going wrong, actually. Maybe it's the lack of folders. I'm like, trying to like swamp through.
The thing that I don't know if they've changed it, but you couldn't put one game in multiple folders. Like I wanted to have like a my top 10, and then I want to have like an indies thing, and I can't put Hotline Miami in both. So I was like, well, screw this forever, and I never went back to it. We should talk about the thing that you mentioned earlier though, about like they're going into like the digital own, like from the beginning they're going with this, digital option for the consoles. Yeah, do you think that's something that they could steer more into, like try and make this? I don't know if I would view the digital only one as more of like a casual thing, because you could just pick the system up, worry about the newest technology. You don't have to have backwards compatibility unless you're going to buy those games again. So it's almost like they're designing this digital only thing for maybe more of like a casual audience.
I think the digital only is more just for casual, but also ease. Like lots of people don't mind about physical editions, or if they have a physical edition, it's more for like the extras, like collector's editions or special editions, that sort of thing. So the extra stuff you get with it rather than a disc. When I buy physical, it's mostly just to like sell it on secondhand afterwards, so I get some money back on it. Because it's always nice having that big like trade-in haul at the end of a year where you're like, I've played all these and enjoyed them. Now I send them out into the world to sow their seeds so someone else can enjoy them. So having digital only, I don't know if it's casual, or because people are going to be spending more money on a digital one than they would with physical because of the trade-in prices. So I don't know, but I think at the end of the day, for the UI, it needs to be really good on a digital one, because you're stuck with it. You can't get around it. Like I know it's the same on the physical one, but you don't have a disc to distract you with its shininess. But like, it's okay, I'm going to put this in now, and it'll do it automatically what I need it to. You need to know what you're doing with the digital one and be able to go into the store and have everything very easy. So I think they're leaning towards subtle instead of flashy. Is the right way to go, and that they're touching every pixel is a lovely message. I'm glad that each one is going to be perfectly aligned.
One thing that like makes me not worried, but considering I buy everything under the sun, it's just like trying to then organize stuff on the storage side. I don't know if you've had the standard like PS4 problem of just having to go in, delete every time you buy something new, you delete something else, and every time a game needs an update, because of the way the PS4's architecture works, it needs to duplicate that file size, update the game over here, and then delete the original version. And things like that, I hope they completely do away with. I think they need to rethink how the system accesses data, because I think from the beginning of the generation, like obviously we've shifted more into digital only stuff. They really undercut or underestimated how big game file sizes were going to be. And I know they've announced, like, I think they've talked about hard drive sizes and stuff, and obviously the SSD and everything. But if there was one wish list thing for me, it would be rethinking how all of that stuff works, like making sure that if you're on the digital only one, you can access everything super easy. Because I don't know what you would, if there's anything from the Xbox side you would bring across to the PS5, like maybe the pin stuff, customizable homepage type stuff.
I think they've been around long enough, both of them, to be able to learn from each other and take the good things and make them better. And I hope that's what they're going to do. I hope Xbox doesn't stick with its like stay rote format and go, right, this is fine, even though everyone's complaining about it. It's fine. We'll just like add a couple of things here and there. I hope that they actually dig into it and do change up the main things that people have problems with and make it a bit clearer and easier to get to games with gold and that sort of thing. And I hope PlayStation I hope if it's rebuilding from the ground up, it takes the things that are good from the Xbox interface, like you say, like pins, like the way that it kind of scrolls down and has everything on the way that its homepage works and stuff. The things that I like about it personally, yes. I would like those to appear on the PlayStation. But I know I'm very aware that my opinion is not the masses' opinion, and I think lots of people do like the PlayStation format. And kind of them having their own thing and sticking to that and then doubling down on it and making it better is the best option for them for widespread appeal. And lots of people will like that. But for me personally, of course, borrow away, take what you need, pick and pinch.
Bring on the borrowers. I'm super curious if... I just want them to bring the blades back on the Xbox side, which I know that they moved away from, but I love the blade design, and just old fogies like me and Jules always loved that thing.
Wait, is that the 360 one where you can...
Yeah, what they originally started with, where you could use the shoulder buttons and like you could swipe through and it made a lovely noise and it was all really swish and cool. And they sort of had it, like they made that the mini smart menu thing for a while on the follow-up UI, and then they ditched it all together with the Windows Phone stuff. Yeah. Whatever. These are the ramblings of an old gaming person who's just too far gone.
They're good shoulder buttons. Love a shoulder button. Look at inventory menus, like on any RPG you play or any game you play. You have an inventory. You use your shoulder buttons to go through to the specified pages. You have your body armor. You have your arms. You have your swords. You have them all in their own pages. So UI... have a body armor page, have a sword page, you know what I mean?
And blades.
Movies, games, the other stuff that happens on consoles. That's the only two things I can think of that I use it for, but you know what I mean?
It's good things. But yeah, let us know what you think down in the comments below. Are you an Xbox person or a PS4, 5 person, and what sort of UI changes would you want going forward? For now, I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com.
I've also been Ash, not Scott.
Catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.